He was first.
I'd like to call the Destin Fire Control District special meeting to order. We're at 848 Airport Road here in Destin. The date is April 28, 2021 at 9 a.m. This meeting is open to the public. At this time, I'd like to open the floor up for public comments.
We received none.
Seeing none, close the floor to public comments, and we're here to discuss and take any of all actions relating to the construction and remodel of the new fire station at Calhoun Avenue, on Calhoun Avenue. So, Chief, or do you want to start with Catherine?
Well, there's a couple of items that will need the board's either decision or direction on. Probably both on these two items. The first, and as Catherine kind of laid it out, she did send it to the board in an email, so that way you can see, we opened the RFP for the finance, being that it was only Synovus, based on board direction, we went back to Synovus and kind of negotiated with them to see what other options we might be able to entertain. And we brought back to this meeting the initial option that they gave us in their RFP, as well as an additional option. And I can let Catherine pick it up from there and kind of lay out what we will like to get some more direction on where they would like to go with one of these two options. So if you wouldn't mind, Miss Catherine.
Okay, so what you have before you are really 4 different options, but they're kind of grouped in 2 scenarios. So Synovus Bank came back with their RFP. We had asked for multiple financing options as far as the terms of the loan, and they only came back with one option to finance over a 10-year period at 2.4%. So that is scenario 1 that you see in front of you. In scenario 1, there actually begins principal payments and interest payments on July 15th. So I went back to them, discussed a little bit, is the bank willing to, do anything better? Not necessarily better, but anything different, provide us with different options. And they're willing to extend it out to a 13-year period. So scenario number 2 shows that the interest rate, it would be 2.43%. So the additional cost for going out 3 more years would be a total of $62,000 to the district. That would be the additional finance cost of it. Now I look at this little more than just what is the cost. I look at it also, well, how does it affect our budget? Because we're talking long-term financing, and we know that long-term there are other projects that we need to do. Capital improvements, staffing increases. While the extra 3 years costs more, it does provide relief in your annual budgets of approximately $34,000 each year. Okay, then you go over to the other options presented, and it's taking the exact 2 scenarios, but instead of the payment starting on July 15th, immediately making principal payments, it's what they proposed in their RFP with payments beginning October 1st. I actually don't recommend that to the board. We don't have a cash flow issue. There's no need to accrue additional interest. So I would not recommend to the board options 3 or 4. I would actually make a recommendation to go with option 2 to give a little relief to our annual budgets and to help the district with its future needs.
Catherine, correct me if I'm wrong, but if we pay it off early, there's no penalties, right?
That is correct. There's no penalties. They just require a 90-day notice to pay it off early, and we can always pay additional as we go. So, if we come to the end of a fiscal year and we have, unused funds available, we have 2 different places we can apply. Well, 3 different places. We can leave them in reserves. We can pay down pension. We could pay down this loan. What's presented in front of you is also for the financing of $1.5 million. This board has previously discussed not financing that much. The structure of this is to draw the funds immediately up front. Now, if the board does not utilize all the funds, it can simply pay it back. immediately. So, I'm a little apprehensive to reduce how much we draw at this point because we don't know our cost yet. We don't know cost of our remodel. We don't know cost of the new building that we're putting. So it would also be my recommendation to draw the full 1.5 until we know those costs.
So this is a one-time opportunity to draw. We couldn't, a year in, top it off, say we take 1.25 up front. We can't go to 1.5 a year from now.
No, we cannot. And
Okay.
because it's not structured as a construction loan where you
Okay.
take draws, it
Okay.
is because of the
Yep.
type of structure that it is.
They're like that interest immediately.
Well, of course they do. I like flexibility.
Right, I do too. That's where I like where you're going with that.
Well, but I mean, how long is it gonna be before we know whether or not we really need the full 1.5 or something less than that?
Well, we're still waiting to get our RFPs out for those two large projects.
But I
And
mean, okay, guess what? I was expecting the answer well within 3, 4, 5 months, something
Yes.
like that. So what's at
Yes, sir.
risk of if we don't need 1.5, we have unnecessarily paid interest for 3, 4 months on the piece of it we didn't need, which is not a huge amount of money.
No.
So I like, Catherine, I like your recommendation for 3 reasons. One, I like your bent toward affordability. We structure this so that going in, we have a lower monthly payment. So we find out we can afford more, we have the flexibility, second point, to accelerate payments. We can make a 13-year loan, an 8-year loan if we want to, with simply accelerating payments. I look at the cost for that affordability and flexibility, it's 3 basis points, which is absolutely nothing. I absolutely agree with your recommendation.
Is that a motion?
So moved.
Motion. Second.
All right, I got a motion to approve scenario 2, correct?
Correct.
All right, and a second. Any further discussion? Tom? You good? No, I like it as well, so
Thank you so
I
much.
love our options, so let's take a vote. All in favor of this scenario 2? Unanimous.
Thank you.
I think that was very well thought through.
Very was.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks for laying it out the way you did too.
Most definitely.
Very understandable. All right, chief.
Yes, sir. The next item that we need a decision of direction on is for the lift. The lift closed out on Friday as far as the RFP and bid submittals. We only received one. It was from Foreman Marine. You have that in front of you. You'll see it's for, they're bidding it out. Their proposal was for a little over $27,000 to be able to complete install. And so we went through and evaluated their bid. There were several things that we had questions about. We have sent those to DC. Unfortunately, email wasn't working as it would like. I don't think you got it. And anyway, there's some issues there. So we haven't got an answer back directly from DC. However, I think I can provide some guidance to the board. And Ms. Carolyn and I discussed the potential options for the board based upon what our knowledge of what we put out in that RFP about the board's ability to turn down, decline, or throw it all out altogether. So I think you have the ability to do just about anything you would like.
We do have that ability?
We wanted to make sure we asked DC. We didn't get the answer from him, but our opinion is yes.
Okay.
So
That's
a
ridiculous.
couple of issues that we ran into, could have been just a simple typo on his part or on Gorman's part, is that we asked in the RFP for a 15,000 pound lift. He states it's a 10, but then other places he mentions 15, but where it counts, he says it's 10. We're looking for 15. Then in the paperwork as well, and he submitted everything we asked, which is the warranty paperwork, installation paperwork, all the stuff that we asked for. He submitted it. As we go through that, he's intending to put up a golden lift. In golden lists installation instructions, the requirement for the pilings is at least a 10-inch piling. Okay, he is on his bid submitting to me a 8-inch piling.
Right.
So I'm not sure that would meet the warranty requirements that are going to have to go in for installation through the lift and all that. So that's a little bit of a concern. And then also there's two different amounts. He bid $27,000, But in its paperwork, it also says on, and I can tell you where the page is at in just a second, but 26. So even the amounts are wrong. So there's a lot
I
of,
saw that,
yeah,
those two.
yeah. So there's a lot of issues with it. And when we went on our own, and we did ask Breeze Boat Lifts to assist us because we're not lift experts. So we went to who we have used in the past to install our other lift that the boat currently sits in. We went to that company and said, help us, what do we need? We're gonna put an RFP together, provide us with some guidance. What do we need? Those kind of things. Give us a general idea so we know what to budget for, as far as cost and all that. They did. And the board has seen that. We put it before the board. And Breeze, for their part of the work was around 18,000.
Exactly.
And then the electrical work, potentially 15 to 2,000. So if you put the two together, we're looking at, Breeze could have done it based upon us just going straight to them and asking them to do it, was for $20,000.
Bigger pilots and a bigger lift.
They were doing a 15,000 pound?
Yes,
Well,
that's where we got the recommendation from.
why didn't they bid it, do you think? Did
He
you not
said
get
he
the
was
information?
busy and we did ask, because we stayed in contact with him, making sure that he was aware it's out, this is where the paperwork is, and we just email it to you. We emailed it to him, make sure anybody that wants this got it. And he says he's busy, pretty busy right now. And then what we put in the RFP was a lot of work in order to try to get it all in, a lot of paperwork, because we asked for all the warranty paperwork, the installation stuff. We asked for all the insurance stuff. We asked for a lot of stuff. And was busy, he said, it's just a lot for us to do that. So I might have to just sidestep this one.
May I make a motion?
By all means.
Okay, I'll make a motion. We'll see where this goes. If DC comes back and says we have the right to do this, I want to make a motion to go to Breeze. It's a much stronger, much bigger pylons, everything about it. He's local right here. We have a problem. He fixes it. I make a motion to go to Breeze. It's $8,000 cheaper and a better lift.
We gotta get.
We don't know.
I said, I'm sorry,
We don't have a proposal.
we do. He gave us a price.
He initially gave it,
He did.
he quoted us back when I put it before the board. I put a couple of quotes. We had an idea of what the cost was going to be, so the board would know. And so he did give us a quote. Now that quote's probably expired from the 30 or
Yep.
60-day quote that he gave us. I'm sure it's expired by now.
Okay, and
But we do have an idea of what the cost is. So if the board would allow me the opportunity, we believe, but we'll get the confirmation from DC, we believe the board can reject this bid. And then once we've done our part as far as putting it out and soliciting bids,
Right.
the one we received, the board isn't happy with. If the board would like for me to engage with Breeze to negotiate the installation and keeping that cost at a minimum. And then if I run into any issues, I bring it back to the board and then if we can.
I'll amend my motion.
But we would go through the process of rejecting this bid.
yes.
That's today,
So that's
yes,
off the table.
yes.
Okay, fine.
So I'm gonna amend my motion.
That would be first, would be the rejection,
Right,
because once it's rejected, then at that point,
Yeah.
we can do whatever we need to do to get it installed.
Okay, I'm gonna amend my motion. As long as our attorney says it's okay to
Reject.
reject this offer here, for the chief to go to Breeze, and if they will honor the quote that they gave us, that we move forward with Breeze Boat Lift due to, for the record, bigger, stronger, better.
Cheaper.
Cheaper, much cheaper, $7,000-8,000 cheaper.
Yeah.
And they're local. That's my motion.
And motion and a second, further discussion. I guess the question I would have is, what basis are we gonna, cancel this one, just because of the price?
No.
Why? We asked for a 15,000 pound and they bid.
Yeah, we didn't, and we asked for 10
That's enough right
inch.
there.
But you'd ask for clarification, so if he provides the clarification and it's accurate,
Well,
can we then? I just want to make sure that we're not,
this is a question for DC.
Right.
yeah,
But if there were two prices in here, I would think we'd have to, well, which one and why, whatever. But they're bidding, page 5, and
Yes, it
10,000
says.
pound boat lift. That's
Yeah.
non-responsive to our RFP.
This
Yeah,
is
it's
not
right
what we
there in
asked for.
front.
so,
I mean, this is a question for DC, but
This isn't what we asked for.
I
I
understand.
think Rick's right, we need to be very careful not to
Yeah.
get engaged with somebody else while this thing is still alive.
Agreed.
Secondly, we gotta be very careful that we don't feed any information from their proposal to Breeze.
That's my point, because then it can come back, I think,
That,
on
that's
us.
why my motion said for him to check with DC first.
You also said it's down to the same price. So,
Yeah, so
Nothing.
to me, that'd be unfair if we were negotiating prior to the
Right,
decision.
I agree.
But that's why my motion was check with DC first. If he says, yes, he can do it, well, then this one's off the table.
Well, why didn't Breeze put it in to start with?
He just told us.
No, we got a formal application here.
Right.
Why we got one for Breeze?
He said at this present moment, he's so busy that getting all the stuff that we asked for to put in an RFP again, we asked for the warranty paperwork, installation paperwork, insurances, a cover letter, the packet that Foreman turned in was that thick. I mean, it was probably half inch thick. It was a lot of paper. And they turned to Breeze, looking over our RFP that we're putting out, knew that was what it was gonna take. And he says, right now, I'm pretty swamped, so.
But how hard is it to get the insurance paperwork, the warranty? This is like photocopy work. He's not gonna go write it all,
I
right?
understand.
So do you believe that's the real reason, or is there any concern there's something else in the background?
maybe underbid it and
Well, but that's why my motion is what it is, if they'll do it for that price. I do know, Jack, for a fact that all the marine contractors, period, some of them are a year behind. When I say a year, you need a doctor a year.
Well, that's another thing to consider. We're talking about needing something July 1st.
Right,
Yeah.
well, I'm sure
If
that
Breeze
you,
is beyond that much, he
Right.
can't do paperwork. In my opinion, he may not be there at the time we need it. This guy may be there at the time we need it.
If,
but my concern about this one is this is not what we asked for.
Well, that's right.
10,000 pound is not big enough to hold our
Do we
boat.
let them rebid correctly on
Right.
15,000 pound?
how many weeks
And
is it?
then, yeah, how many weeks?
I just don't want to cut her nose off, spot her face.
Do what?
I just don't want to cut her nose off, spot her face,
Yeah, I'm with you.
you know? I
well,
want the lift.
our goal is to have it, do it as efficiently and cost effective as possible, but to have the lift being installed as soon as the property is available for us to do so. So the projected date for that is July 1st. So our goal was to have the, whoever we awarded this to or worked it out with, for them to go ahead and get all their stuff ready and packaged so that on the 1st, they start their installation and can have it done within a couple of days. That's what our goal really is. So would that, and do it cost effectively. But so I wouldn't ask to be tied just to Breeze. We will talk to them. However, if they're not able to do what we need to be done and do it on July 1st, and he's so busy that he can't get it to us until August,
Right.
then I'd like to be able to have the ability to go and talk to other marine contractors and see what we can, because once we put this bid out, we've done our part as far as what the requirements are with the state and putting it out. Once we do that, then we can go about just getting the work done that's in the best interest of the district.
May I make
Cost
a-
efficient and all that.
May I make something that we haven't thought about? We still only have one boat right now. We haven't bought a second boat. We have a lift for the boat. So if it can't be put in July 1st, no matter who we hire, to me, it's irrelevant because we put the boat in at night in the lift and the guys are in the boat 100 days of summer, all day long. They can bring the boat over and dive to the dock. Doesn't have to be put on a lift right then. It can float until he's able to find the contractor that we need that will provide what we've asked for. If, I don't see it happening. I don't see anybody doing it by July 1st. I just don't see that. Unless we want to pay $50,000, somebody's going to get bumped out of the way.
Yep.
But we only have one boat right now currently, and we have one lift. So I would rather have a local contractor that gave us a bid of what we asked for, because we need a 15,000 pound lift. Our boat don't weigh 15,000, but Tommy will tell you, those winds that get over there in that bay, you gotta have some stout pilings and a stout
Right.
lift, or you're gonna have a problem. So if we only have one boat, let's just use the lift we got. They're gonna be in the water anyway, all day long. Let them go over and tie up to us. When the boat needs to go back, let them take it back over and put it back in the lift. Let's get what we need. I would rather give him the ability to go get exactly what we need
Sure.
And that's why I made the motion the way I did it. If DC says we can do it, and if Breeze says, yes, I'll honor my price, and yes, I'll get you on the schedule, and yes, I can do it in this time frame, then we gave him the ability to move forward. If they say, man, I can't do my bid, I can't honor it, I can't get to it for 6 months, then the chief has the ability with my motion to go back to this guy and say, give us what we asked for, and a time frame.
And if DC says we have to honor this bid, we have to go with this Corman because they're the only bid.
I'm sorry, sir?
If DC says we can't dissolve this contract, we have to go with Corman then? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, no, because it's not what we asked for.
For clarification,
Right.
and a responsive bid.
Right.
Or we all rebid it again, that's gonna cost.
We would have to rebid.
Yeah.
That's why the way I worded it,
Having
Might be
bid it
able to
once,
negotiate with him.
yeah, having bid it once and getting no responsive proposals, do we have to bid it again?
No, sir.
Thank you. We don't have to rebid it, if this can be negated.
Yeah, if this is negated based off two factors.
There's multiples, yes, sir.
There's multiples, so it should be on face value, to me, obsolete, right?
they do, it's not what we asked for.
Yeah, so he's contradicting himself a couple
That's
times,
right.
but,
Yeah.
you know, my thought is we gotta make sure this is before we move further,
No, I agree, and that's why, and
and
that's,
operate in fairness.
yeah, kind of about, we got handcuffed a little bit, email servers and other issues, so we didn't necessarily get the response we were looking for, but I will, unless he's in court, I'll talk to DC today on the phone and make sure I get clarification correctly.
Was my motion clear enough to give you what you need?
Yes, sir, I think, yes, sir, and, as far as, two things, one, when we initially talked to Breeze, he did feel like he could get it done for us, what we looked for July, could fit us in and get that done. So, as long as he's able to continue to do that, that would be great. We're just talking about him being able to do a smaller job and knock it out, in a couple of days. And then the other thing is the boat. Once Memorial Weekend hits, we're not out there for 100 days, so we're only out for the weekend. So we'll be out Friday, Saturday, Sundays,
Gotcha.
and Mondays if it's a holiday, that kind of thing. So it won't be out all the time.
Right.
But either way is that we will have crews in the boat on the weekends and that kind of thing.
And we have a place to tie it up.
And we do have
That's
some.
that's a good point. too.
And it probably looked pretty cool tied up once in a while, just floating out there, and everybody going by and seeing it. Now they know this is us.
Yeah. Our objective was to get it there, so when we're there, the personnel is there, but,
We're operating
we might not
without,
be able to.
we're operating without
And I got
a
a
garage
question.
anyway.
And they are busy. Gorman did say, after Michael, and it's not just Michael, they're so busy that their home base is in Panama City. So, he's actually, renting a place, and he's got a 3-person crew that's over here in Fort Walton, because there is so much work that he's actually taken 3 of his people from over there, put them over here, and renting them a place to stay while they do work over in this general area. So it is, as Commissioner Buckingham said, that market right now is extremely busy. So it's true.
So
At least that's what Gorman says.
did we put in the RFP, a time frame to perform? Or no? Was that part
For
of it?
completion?
Yeah,
No, there was not a completion date in the RFP. However, there was a clause to finish the work, otherwise the district had recourse.
Well, it's got a delivery date of 45 days here, time required for delivery after receipt order. So, I mean, it does have but
A timeframe, 45 days.
His
But I'm
response,
concerned-
yes, his
I'm
response.
concerned that this all, is relevant, but we've got to get a dock built first. And
That's where we were gonna set.
until the dock gets built, you don't put the lift in.
We were gonna put this lift in on the current dock, so it's around
Yeah.
there, so that we can still show our personnel on our boat and the apparatus are all operating out of that station. Not optimal, which we'd like, which is the reason we're going through all the stuff we're doing now, building, gonna build a new bay and all the other stuff that we're doing and looking at a new dock. But we wanna get the boat around there, utilize the current dock that we have. Is it exactly what we want? No, but at least we had the boat there and our response time gets reduced by having that boat back behind the station.
Right, and not have to go to the harbor and get it.
Right, so this will be put in and potentially relocated when we do that.
We talked to, the chief and I talked to a couple contractors, marine stuff, or I did.
Yeah.
About, what it would take, Tommy, when the time comes, which is gonna be at least a year down the road, because our permitting's gonna take forever to get, for us to take the lift, set it off to the side, pull the pilings and get the pilings back where we need them at that time. At the new lift, it's not a big deal to do. I mean, it can be done in a day and a half. But it's gonna take us a year, no doubt, a year to get approved from all the Fed departments.
Yeah.
To get this thing done. I don't think it's gonna be a city issue. I think it's gonna be more of a core and a DEP issue to get this thing done. Because of the size that we're asking for. It's bigger than we think it is.
Yeah.
But that's just my thought.
Then you got, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, I got a motion and a second
Yes, sir.
to give the DC to make sure that we can cancel this bid proposal.
And if that's the
And
case.
if that's the case, then we go to Breeze. Pardon?
Cancel or reject?
Yeah, cancel or reject.
Reject is non-responsive.
Okay, does that sound what your motion was? Okay. All right, so take a vote, all in favor? Unanimous.
Well, those are really the two items that we needed to do. So we are, we're working on a lot of the, larger items and smaller items. So, working on all the small items that we need to in order to be in there by July 1st. So all that's kind of lining up. We're getting all the price quotes we need, making sure that the vendors that we're going to need to do things for us, are all prepared to descend on the property come July 1st and start doing their work. From installing a radio and antennas in the cottage for right now, with the intent of being able to relocate those to the other facility when the time comes, to buying a shed, because we have to have somewhere to store the bunker gear, because that building's so small, we're gonna have somewhere to store that out of there. Washer and dryers to be able to put in there, a golf cart UTV, all these smaller things we're having to do the research on and lining all that up for a July 1st date. As well as, remodel for the bay house and the station and the kitchen, and the build of the garage. So we've got the multiple irons in the fire with those couple of things. With that said, Commissioner Buckman and I have been working together with Charlie Clary, former Senator Clary, and getting the drawings enough to put it out for an RFP. So he's, as the board has seen, he has the one for the Bay House, and we've kind of gone back and forth to get the one, and he's putting both of these drawings in a CAD now so they can be produced for us so that we can put it in as part of the RFP to go out for both of those. Those would be separate bids. We're going to do one for remodels, for all of our remodeling stuff, and then we'll have the one for the garage, as we're calling it. And some tweaking is going to go on there. So we're in that process. We're writing the RFPs, and we're getting that. So it's starting to line up. And so I would hope in the near future, we should be releasing the RFP for both of them. And it'll probably be remodel, and then it'll probably be the other one after that.
The wood and the concrete.
Yes.
The wood,
Yeah.
and I think the ladies are close to being ready, right? Your paperwork, as far as sending it out.
Or close.
Right. Talked to Mr. Clary last night, and I think he feels comfortable. He might have what we need to give to the ladies to put their package hopefully by Friday.
Mike, you were here last meeting, and Jack, the picture he sent us, like a child did that. That's not what we're paying for, is it?
Oh, no, he put it in CAD, and it's all gonna be done. That was just a conception for us to look at to say, is this what I want? Oh, no, it's gonna be CAD, it's gonna be a set of plans.
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah, no.
That was like, this is
Yeah.
right, because that's been like a month, I thought he was gonna present it now, but the longer we wait for those plans, the longer it takes us to build that property.
I think as soon as we get them in our hands, I'll probably grab them. He'll probably give them to me. I'll hand the chief and he can email you all the copies so you can see what we got.
Sure.
But if everything goes right, we'll have them for Friday, so these ladies will have them to put in their paperwork, hopefully.
And
get it
then
out.
the RFP that we're gonna put out is gonna be a design bid, so that way there'll be further design work being done, obviously. But, this is so that we can at least get to that point and get a contractor that's got an architect, engineer and all that he's going to work with to be able to get everything done that needs to be done. So because we thought the board's direction was we want to be able to have that one person that if we have any issues, that's the one person we go to that we're going to hold responsible for all of it. Whether it's design, whether it's the plumber didn't do something right, it doesn't matter. That one person is who, as the board and the district's going to hold responsible for this project. So, and that's how we're writing the RFP. So it'll be for a design bid. Once the board makes that decision on who we're going to award this to, then we'll be working with that person moving forward. And to finish the rest of the design work that needs to be done, and then all the construction and all that. So,
Like that, can't wait.
Two questions.
Yes.
What are you doing with all your spare time?
Fishing, and, yeah, I haven't been able to go to the parks lately, but, yeah.
I'm out at the swim test on Monday. Do we have anybody pass their swim?
Oh,
test?
yeah, absolutely, we sure did, and we found some challenges too, for sure, normally say regular board meeting, but I'll put out there now, we hired you probably saw it on our Facebook page, we normally announce it, but, and it was there. We hired John Adams, he was in the service for 14 years, did a lot of SF stuff, he wasn't, the real special, like the top of the line, the high-end guys, the real high-speed guys, but he was with the high-speed guys. So anyway,
Wow.
he worked a lot with that, phenomenal shape. And, but I was saying we hired him because one of the things that when we interviewed is that, he's a former lifeguard or was one. But he hadn't swam in a while. And, he had the pool. Yeah. As we see with most people, there's a wall that you hit about the 350 foot mark. Then you find out you're really swimming because you kind of stroke it through the first 350, and then about that 350, the wheels come off, form starts to go away. You find out, anyway. So, but, and he wasn't alone. I just point him out because we just put him on. It's like, I'm going to go do the swim and knock it out. And we went, wow, yeah, I'm going to have to do a couple of days of training to get my stroke back. And then I'll
Well,
knock it out.
from the picture, it looked like he had some muscle on him too, and
Well,
that's a
there's no
little
doubt.
different. That's a
With
little
that-
different.
Yeah, well, there is. And then he, as well as 4 others, went to the firefighter combat challenge that they had at Pensacola Beach this year. They brought it to me and said, they had firefighter Quinn brought it to me and said, Chief, we want to go do this. I said, I support you 110%. What do you need me to do to help you out? So we did. We sponsored them. We paid for their entry fee. We gave them the time to go. Well, if they were on duty, they could go, but they had to come back when they were done, but we let them go while they were on duty. So we had five folks go. Of the 5, 3 are on probation. So they were really excited to go and do it. And I think they learned a lot in the event. We ended up placing 7th overall out of 28 teams. We think that's pretty good for their first run through.
Yeah.
It's the first time they've done it. They weren't really familiar with how everything works until they got over there and ran the very first time. They ran the very first time and wasn't as fast as obviously as they knew they could go, but they figured out a lot of things and shored up their time, did even faster. They eventually got to make 3 runs at it. I anticipate next year will be even faster. But because they, even afterwards, they were excited, they figured out multiple technique issues that make them faster. So I'm very proud.
It's good.
I am extremely
good.
proud of those folks, and I've told each and every one of them how proud I am of doing that. And
Look out,
I told all of them, not just those 5 folks, but I told all of them, if there's other things that, competitive things, that y'all want to be involved in, by all means, bring that, and we will evaluate it, and if there's any way possible, we'll support you in that.
You're
Because
doing great.
we feel like I do, and I'm confident the board will, that they're representing us when they're up there. They're wearing our name, they work for us, there are folks that are representing us when they're up there, and I'm mighty proud that they do represent us. So if there's anything that they'd like to do that would further represent our district and our area, in a competitive type of events, we're more than happy to support Ryan. So,
And please let us know, because
Yeah.
I know I'd like to go watch it.
absolutely. Yeah,
And
and they,
I'll tell you right now, I'll sponsor a team in the honor games this November. It's a CrossFit competition at Legendary.
okay, I like that.
I got it.
Oh, cool.
You give me, just give me honor games?
Honor games.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's over Legendary
I've
Marine.
had a team in the last 3 years, I think.
okay.
That's
And
cool,
it's-
Jack.
And it's CrossFit?
CrossFit, yeah.
Okay, I think,
Think we have a meeting?
just saying, the one individual that we just hired, and he trains CrossFit, like trains people, so. Cool. That's why he looks the way he does, he's in phenomenal shape.
Yeah.
And we've got multiples that really do that, so,
That's cool.
thank you, sir. We'll make sure that happens.
Anything else?
Yeah, I got one question.
Okay.
I've had multiple people ask me, of course, I think I was right up in that front line for so long at the park. That everybody knows that we get a station over there. Everyone wants to know where. And you try to tell them, you try to explain to them, oh, okay, yeah. But by water, we try to explain to them, you know, do we have a thought, a plan of either a flagpole with a flag out there, or what's our thought, chief, of what are we gonna put out there day one to let people know that we're there? Are we
I
putting
see.
buoys out there, or?
I say a flag that we can run up, and I even like the idea of even if we can put flags for like the beach, to let people know as they're going out, if it's rough or whatever, the conditions. Maybe it's a red flag, whatever, I'm just talking aloud, but I think a sign at the end of the dock,
Right.
Destin Fire Control District, substation, or whatever.
I think we're gonna be careful. We don't wanna be a hospital. But we, if it's a really emergency, how are we gonna let them know that we're here? And, without our new dock,
Paint the dock red.
There you
That's an easy
go.
one. Trashy looking, but
Yeah, I think,
that's not a good idea.
once the boat's over there,
That'll.
I think that's gonna be like a beacon. And so we did, we were able to coordinate it with Mr. Schutz. We got all 3 shifts over there to walk through, explain to them what our thoughts were, where they're gonna be living for 9 to 12 months. But kind of told them that's short-term, temporary. You'll be here, and then we're gonna go down here and I show them everything's gonna be laid out, what we've been talking about. And show them the dock and all of it. I think all the folks are extremely excited about the property. I think they were impressed with the property itself. And I think quite a few of them are really looking forward to that station opening and potentially being assigned there.
Competing to get there.
Sign and the notification, but what's gonna be the biggest thing? Social media. Once that
Yep.
kicks in, then,
Yes.
then
Yeah.
it's gonna be a non-issue there.
Right.
Uh,
And we talked about, when we were out on the dock, and even, and that's why where the UTV came in, when we were talking about, we've had discussions here about that. That dock's not quite wide enough for us to run something out, so we're gonna have to, but anyway, we had general conversations with all 3 shifts of how that operation's gonna kind of work, and I also, as, we talked, once folks identify us, whether it's we do it with flags or signage or whatever, once they know that help is right there and it's not far, when somebody gets cut with a prop, not that we're encouraging it, but once something happens to somebody out at Crab Island or they're on the water and they can see where our boat is, I told them, I said, you can expect people are gonna show up at that dock.
that's,
Maimed, injured, sick, whatever, they're gonna show up at the dock. We're gonna have to go and get them, bring them back to a waiting ambulance at some point, that kind of thing. I said, so we're gonna have to set cameras up, we're gonna have to set motion detectors up so that we know people are on the dock. So whether it's up to mischief or somebody that's injured, we know they're there, because we might not be able to see it from early on from the cottage. So
Yeah.
the line of sight isn't there. So we have a camera set up so that if there's motion, that the guys can turn the camera on, see what's going on the dock, whether it's mischief or whether it's somebody that's hurt.
Chief, what about like they do on the highway? On the highway, you got an emergency, they have these boxes, every once in a while you hit the button. Why can't we put a temporary buzzer of some sort
That's a good. idea.
Question, if we're on a call though, and we're not there,
Right.
it's a
Right.
false sense of security,
Right,
and
That's
we're
true,
not
too.
there,
Right.
that's a problem.
that's true too.
That's a lot of wasted
So-
time.
So
Yeah,
that's
a lot of times
great
what we'll
point.
do, like,
Well, at least they could come to there.
what we'll do sometimes, like on our front door, it says, if nobody answers, call 911, this is an emergency, because that gets you everything.
Yeah.
Everybody's notified.
Well, you got each safety is gonna be out there anyway. So,
Yep, during the,
well, during any day, I mean, once Memorial Day starts, you're gonna have a lifeguard somewhere in that pass right there.
true.
And if they come up and hit an alarm and nobody's at the station, then they can alert the
Right.
safety, which can be there to.
Or the sheriff or whatever.
Hey, look, I'm not suggesting this, but it's something we might want to think about. Bob, I never thought about that. I didn't. You know, these stations are a little different because they're up into the public, you know, they're open, they're brighter. You know, that one's kind of tucked away. You know, we might want to think in the future that we have one person that does nothing but stays there for that reason. That stays there. We got, I don't know, 3 guys that's on a truck, the 4th guy stays there for those reasons. We're providing something we don't provide at these other facilities, and that's on the water. So I never thought about that, Bob, I gotta be honest with you. If somebody does come up and they're hitting that buzzer, or whatever it has, a motion or whatever, and they're realizing, man, these guys, I'm not getting the service. We don't need the publicity of people saying, man, I got out there and they couldn't do anything. They want to be able to water, but they can't take care of me. You know, we need to think about that. I've never in my right mind thought about that.
That's something we have to deal with down the road.
Yeah, I just
I'm a
think
little
about it.
reluctant to take one of our slots, personnel slots, and have them just sit there and watch the dock open.
Well, but they don't have to be, they don't have to be an EMT, they don't have to be you know, it could be an assistant of any kind, just somebody being a body.
Sure.
You know, they have to have training. I'm sorry.
I like the thing, of call 911.
Catherine wanna move down there.
And it alerts everybody,
Yeah.
what kind of emergency it is.
I think we could set, I think we got a lot of options. I
Okay.
can bring
I'm
some,
just
I can bring
saying-
stuff, I can bring stuff back to the board on how we can, react to someone bringing or being injured or sick and showing up at the dock. It's not like somebody showing up at your front door. That's kind of our front door to the gateway to the water, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I'll come up with something that's similar to the front door here. Even at Station 10, we've got signage, we've got other ways to do it. Most people have cell phones, but maybe they don't. But I think if you give me a little bit, I'll figure out something, bring it back to the board on how we might be able to do something for that.
I'm just kind of reluctant to get into the,
Personnel.
emergency clinic.
I don't really want to do that.
But I
Well,
like the idea, they could just come up to the dock, they don't have a cell phone, right? They haven't called 911, they come over here, hit the damn buzzer, and it ought to be an auto phone right to 911.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that way, you know, and if it's us, we're on our way, if it's somebody else, they'll come get
And
us.
that's good, that's
We
great.
gotta be careful, we don't have like an open clinic, an ER department.
Well, the thing that scares me, Jack, that is something else I wasn't thinking about, too, he just said what he said, is these 2 stations that we've been used to, he's been used to running for years, they're broad open. I mean, you can see everything about this building from the front at either station. You're gonna get to this one, and what do we have next door? Park, a lot of people. So the truck takes off from here, the door stays up. They don't close the door automatically, do they, when the door?
Yes,
Oh, they do? Okay,
Oh, there, okay.
I just drove
I'm
by
not gonna
many,
say
many.
it happens all the time.
I was gonna say, I drive many, many times by here and I look over, the doors are wide open. and nobody else in there. So my concern is when he just said what he said, God, we have more activity next door than we have in any station we own. And,
Well, if they ever get the park built,
well,
I'm sorry, sir?
if they ever get the park done.
Yeah, sure.
Don't mean to be cynical, sorry.
Right, yeah, I get that, yeah.
All right.
I'll come up with some options for all that and explain it to the board at our
That's a good point, though.
All right.
That is a great point.
All right, so at this time, I'd like to open the floor for public comment. Seeing none, close the floor for public comments. Our next special meeting is scheduled for May 5th, 2021, at 9 a.m. If nothing else come in front of this board, this meeting is adjourned.
Go back to my house,
Is that all?
I made